Hello people of the interwebs. This is Kyle O'Donnell here. This is actually, it's kind of like my first travel geek video in a long time. So let's get right into it. In the last year, I have been building a tiny house on wheels, which is behind me. It's been done for quite a while, but what I wanted to do was live in it for a period of months to figure out everything that needed to do for maintenance and upkeep and all of that other stuff. So I've done that, and I've been living right here on this gorgeous, awesome farm. And right now it's a little bit flooded. It's been raining a lot here on the East Coast. And today I'm taking a road trip down to the Carolina beaches, the Outer Banks, so that I can enjoy, two reasons actually, so that I can enjoy a weekend off from the grind, and also so that I can I'm sure he's going to enjoy a vacation from all the rolling around in the farm grass around here. But the second reason is so that I can test out what I'm calling an escape pod. That's this guy right here. So this one is going to do a lot in putting together my access to the smaller parts of wherever I'm going. If I end up in a city, for instance. I have several clients that I work for right now, and I do a lot of social media and commercial work all up and down the East Coast. For the last year, I've shot all kinds of commercials, which you can see if you go to kyleodonnell.com and click the Hire Us button, or Hire MSM, Hire Moving Stills Media. Can't remember what the link is. It's in there somewhere. kyleodonnell.com. Yeah, the bus is doing really well. It's kept up with some serious rain lately that would otherwise have tested it quite a bit, but I did a great job sealing the roof. It's got EPMD rubber. In the early part of my build videos, I covered the entire roof with a single sheet of rubber just to make sure that it was sealed completely from the elements. And that was a good move because I put solar panels up there. I put four 300 watt monocrystalline panels up there totaling 1200 watts. They're about 305 watts each, so 1220 watts or so. I also put an AC unit up there. Currently it is hooked up to shore power, and that's so that I can charge the batteries. There's not a whole lot of sun today, if you can't tell. It's pretty overcast, but right now I'm hooked up to shore power here on the farm, and hopefully I can get as much charge out of the batteries as possible in the next few hours, so that when we head down there I can keep my refrigerator on and charge the batteries to all my components. So let's go inside. So first thing you see when you come in is this bug netting, which is excellent. It's just regular window bug netting that I have velcroed into 4 spots up here. It just drapes down and just lays flat against that, and it kind of connects to this bottom step here, so it keeps the bugs out. And then I've got my little shoe cubby right here. Open this up, the little bin pulls out and all your shoes go in there. This little vestibule also holds extra extra tubing for connecting to water. There's an external light if I need to do some work at night. There's a couple of extension cables, 2 of which are actually being used right now. And there's my little rain hat. This is my coat rack. Got a large winter coat. I've got kind of an insulator for that in case for double cold winter. I've got a light kind of fleece jacket, and then this one right here holds, there's a dry bag there, a couple other things. Raincoat, there's a vest here that I travel with, and then of course I've got some coveralls for the super cold or super dirty stuff. Hi Dallas! I put all the light switches over here. This bottom one is actually a fan to cool down the battery bank, and I'll tell you about that in a second. And then I've got 2 lights. I staggered these lights so that half of them come on with one switch and half of them come on with another switch. They're all 12 volt DC, and they light the place up like it's daytime. All right, so this is the battery bank here. I've got 6 12 volt batteries wired in parallel, so it keeps that 12 volt pattern for the inverter charger here. And here is my control panel where I've got the charge controller. Looks like I'm almost full, getting close. My fuse bus is up here. I've got a USB and a cigarette plug charger here wired directly into the battery. It should actually be off that load, but that's fine. And then these come down. Obviously these wires either go down into here to go to and from the battery. The electricity from the shore power comes in right here into this junction, and then goes right now wired into the rest of the house. The seat is the top of the box, and all of the curtains and stuff just kind of tuck out of the way. So that's the passenger seat. Right now I've got my backpack there and a couple of pannier bags for the bike. I like to ride the bike up to the grocery store every once in a while. So that's the side curtain. The top curtain right here is insulated by a shower curtain behind it. And then there's this curtain, which again is kind of tucked up here on this cord. All of the windows around the bus have Velcroed bug netting so they can stay open. Ooh. Kind of, some of them are a little hard to open, but so they can stay open or closed and no bugs get in. In previous videos I also talked about this wood paneling here. This is just refurbished fence that I salvaged, that kept it from the dump, and sanded it down and stained it. Some of them are laid up this way, some of them are laid up backwards, so I mixed up the colors a little bit. I like the earth tones. This is just regular beadboard, got that from Home Depot. This curtain right here is a lifesaver. So the air conditioning is running right now, and this curtain is great at keeping not only the greenhouse effect type heat in the front from all these big windows, but also the cool air inside this back area, inside the living room. And so here I have like a standing workstation. Right now I'm packing up to go to Carolina. Normally I have my microphone and my headphones and stuff like that hanging right here, so I can just use those and kind of work on my laptop standing up. Down here is where I have all of my gear, so all of my mics, mixers, all the camera gear, my drones, my lights, all the light kit, and a couple other things. Got my drone and all the batteries and things are down here. My hard drive stand here too, super insulated and in a kind of a cushy container. This compartment here has the power, so I plug right into the laptop there. There's a little hole in the corner there that lets my cables come up, and then there's another cable that goes down and feeds the fridge there. Underneath the first counter are my dishes. I've got dishes here and here. All of them are like the kind of a collapsible Tupperware there. And on this side I've got my tools, and I cut them. There's a beam that goes right along the bottom of the counter here, where when I cut the plastic on the milk crates, they grab that so they won't come forward if I turn. But even so, I've got lanyards that keep all this stuff back. I've got a second toolbox here. I've got enough tools to literally build a house. On the other side is my kitchen table. Right now my toiletries and my hygienic stuff and wipes and bug sprays and Febreze and all that other stuff, that kind of has a home normally down here, but since I'm traveling I don't want that sliding around, so I just throw it in the seat. There's the plug for the kitchen area. I normally, if I sit down and work, this is where I do it. Obviously I have my meals here. A laptop and my camera bag are usually in that chair because I usually just grab them and go and shoot my commercials and things like that. All of the windows have curtains on them that are triple insulated, so there's 3 layers of insulation here, and so not only is it good for temperature separation, but also it's good to keep that light out or in, depending on what you're looking for. These curtains usually are closed because I try to again use that as insulation. This panel here has my thermometer on it. My AC has kept it down to just over 70 degrees. The stove over here, I've got a cable running across the stove right now because I just moved my bed, which I'll talk about in a second. But the stove is connected to the propane tank, which is down here. The 20-gallon water reserve is here. It connects to the wall in the back there, just as the milk crates do, so it doesn't pull out while driving. My little Dirt Devil Vacuum cleaner is right here. Awesome. It's tiny house sized. The bottom of the sink, the way that I drain the water out, instead of having it drained to a tank or an outside source, is I have a 5-gallon jug. Just this little pipe is cut right there and keeps the jug here. Whenever it fills up, I just dump it. Nice and easy. Water pump is back here. It is a 5-gallon per minute marine pump, and it's way crazy. Like, it has better pressure than the inside of a residential house. The cutoff switch for the pump is right here. So normally that's off. It's good to kind of keep it off. It doesn't drain any power really, but unless it's working, but what it does is it works on pressure. So if I switch that on, and I have that, that's full blast there, and it really starts pumping out water. To minimize things like soap and water usage, I use a spray bottle that just soaps up my dishes with a spray. It not only soaps them up, but it also soaks them. If you have like a bowl that you want to soak in water, that uses much less water, and it sort of, the soap keeps that bowl wet as it'll, you know, kind of soak in. It makes it easier to clean later on, which also saves water. I've got it down to about 20 gallons a week of water, even using my shower. So I do a pretty conservative job of keeping water in here. This mirror is I just got it from the cosmetic area of some store. Basically what it does is it rolls up and stuffs itself in here, or it rolls down. It's got like the magnified one, and it's got the flat one. This little ditty right here is a gas mask bag from the Czechoslovakian Army, which is pretty cool. I keep my toothbrush and toothpaste and fingernail clippers and all kinds of other stuff in there. All of the storage that I have, I made it specifically sized for the milk crates, which are not only cheap and easy to find, but you can also see through them. They're light. They keep me from having to worry about putting drawers up everywhere. They're just totally awesome. So behind me is really countertop and kitchen area number 2. This shelf holds all of the, like, I've got coffee, and I've got, you know, I'll keep my change in here, my little multi-tools, easy to access here. Spices, I got all the little food stuff that I use, like artichoke hearts. Usually hang bananas from here, and have ketchup and spices. Extra mashed potatoes are always good and easy. Always got to keep some Oreos around. So yep, that's the countertop. It's a little bit messy right now because I'm just getting ready to pack up and go. The fridge is just a dorm style fridge. It actually does pretty well. I took the bars out of here and just put duct tape up so I could put, you know, celery and salad dressing and things like that that are longer. Always keep cold water. This is my closet. I didn't want to have any doors of any kind built into the bus, so obviously that's kind of explains the shelving here, but also I used curtains, which are lighter, and they don't have, you know, bolts to them. You don't have to actually have a hard frame to nail down to, so to speak. And so the first example of that is my closet. So all my nicer clothes, my hangables I should say, go up here. Then from here down is basically my drawers. These are also crates. Now this one is my, I actually use hand towels instead of full-on towels. You'd be surprised at how much you can dry off with just a hand towel. So I got a whole bunch of those instead of the longer towels. That saves a lot of space and kind of minimizes things. But the other part is that these are crates that came with the same bundle. I bought all of the milk crates that you see in this entire place, plus some, for 20 bucks. So that was a hell of a deal. But the shelving that I built here, what I did was I built the shelves on a bit of a pitch, so that as they sit in the back, the higher of the pitch is in the center of the bus. So if I'm making a turn or something, they're less likely to come out. But even if I do make a big turn, or if there's a bump or something like that, I've got lanyards. Now these lanyards are all over the bus, right? They lock in all of my shelves. They're found over here and here. I've got one that not only keeps my fridge door closed, but also any shifting and stuff from those bins in there with that lanyard. That one secures that down. So that's the same with all the drawers. Got little lanyards that just have little clasps on them that lock everything down. As for the shower, well, the shower is pretty cool. usually put this back here when I'm taking a shower, but this is the bottom of the 55-gallon drum. That's what I use for the basin of the shower. This is my peat moss. I always carry extra peat moss for the composting toilet. And the shower also acts as a storage bin for my both full and empty water jugs as I fill them. The shower's nice and tall. I put a little light in here. It's basically a tomato jar that I sprayed frost spray onto, so it's nice and kind of diffused. So a real basic shower. The pump works crazy awesome in the shower. To keep everything waterproofed, I just took some semi-transparent curtain, shower curtain, and I put little Velcro stickers up so that when you want this open or to air out the bathroom, just put the fan on there. Fan turns on and off right here. The window closes up around that. So that keeps water from splashing all over the place quite effectively, actually. And the rest of it is just basically a shower curtain that drapes down into the basin. Pretty basic. Not a whole lot of technology went into that. Just some sitting around and staring at it and thinking real hard about what I want it to look like and what I want it to do. The bed has gone, the bedroom in total, in general, has gone through a lot of evolution since I've been here. Initially, the bed was actually about right here. The height of the bed was about here. And so these cables right here, there's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, and 4, attached to a winch at the very center on the underside of the bed, and they actually raise it up. Well, when it was sitting here, there were brackets. This was the top of the couch right here, and that was the top of the desk on the other side. And when it raised up to the roof, or the ceiling rather, I would do my editing over there, and I would have a couch right here, and it would go all the way up to about here, where the top of the bed was actually touching the ceiling. But that didn't give me a whole lot of headroom, and honestly, I found that I wasn't using the desk as much as I thought I would. It was a great desk. On the underside of the bed, I had all of my microphones and my headphones and my mixers were mounted up there. Everything was hanging down there. I had a bungee cord that kept all my cables in order. It was great. I had access to it. It was great sound back here as well. Not a whole lot of reverberation or echo. So, but I just didn't use it, you know, and I didn't have as much company as I thought. The company that I've had I've had 9 people in here one time. I've had about 4 people, 5 people in here another time. But we just kind of congregate in the front. I like it better since I've dropped it because I've got all of this headroom, right? I mean, all of this headroom is great. Whereas before, when I'd wake up in the morning, I'd kind of I wouldn't bump my head, but I would just realize that I didn't have enough space. Plus, the idea of dropping down from the bed to use, there was a step here before and everything. That was a little bit, in the morning when you're kind of groggy and when your eyes is stuck shut, you know, that's a little bit difficult. But it worked out. It worked out well. Now the underside of it is being used for storage. So the light that once was at the top of my editing bay is now on the underside of the storage area, so that lights up the whole area really nicely. So here's some of the rest of my milk crates. A couple of other things just kind of sitting there. This extra support here in the center was added, and that it didn't need it, but it helps the bed from, you know, it just makes it a little more solid. That's all. And finally, the composting toilet. Now my toilet is super basic. The other half of the 55-gallon drum that is being used for the basin is actually in the base of the toilet. On the wall side is where I have my compost soil, so the peat moss, and there's a separate, you know, solid and liquid separator in there. The liquids go up front, solids going back, and they get all composted. All of my waste foods, all of my coffee grinds, all of my orange peels and apple peels, or banana peels and stuff like that, all of it goes in there. Yeah, what else can I tell you about back here? Oh, there's a monitor, a computer monitor that's used for whenever I play video games or something like that, mounted right into the wall. I think I'm going to take that out. I haven't used it much, so might take that out. I have a small table down here Usually it's pretty clean, but I haven't used the table in a while, and that ends up being a catch-all for all the stuff that I'm working on right about the time I go to bed. So if I'm going to bed and I've got something in my hands, like my directing book or some notes that I'm taking, or I was going through my receipts the other day, it all kind of like ends up in that little, I don't know, vortex of daily stuff. So, but normally I use that small table either here to work on my editing or whatever I'm doing on my laptop, or I'll do like dinner in here sometimes. Not a lot. It's pretty comfortable to eat in the kitchen. What else? Oh, this is pretty cool. So over here, these beams right here come down, and they're cut in on. They've got a 30-degree cut in here, and then on the other side, right here, there is a block that mounts here, which when I raise the bed, it basically goes up and then hits those curves on one side, this side, and then on this side, and it kind of moves the bed over and up so that the cabling doesn't get binded up, because they fit down in the channels on this side, but they don't have any protection on this side just because of the way that the bus was. I had to build around this. This is the handicap door back here. So that just basically keeps the bed from forcing the cable into the wall and kind of grinding things up and all that stuff. The rear door is fully functional. I didn't disable it. It has kind of a generic locking system, in that what I did was I drilled a hole right into the handle itself, and I put a chain on it. And at the end of the chain is a basic carabiner. Pull the bug netting back. And this carabiner basically just connects to this eye bolt, which goes all the way through this stud. And that handle's going nowhere. It's solid. And the curtains reveal, obviously, the back area here. So yeah, oh, and I've got a nice big window over here. When I park down at the beach later today, I'll have a nice view instead of the view of the side of the barn. Normally I'm actually parked in the back of the farm, way back there, nice and off-grid, nice and quiet, do my editing and narration and stuff like that. But lately it's been raining, really nasty rain on the East Coast, so I've gotten to the point where I was stuck once. They had to get the bulldozer out. That was fun. That was a good day. So yeah, that's my tiny house. Thanks for watching.